National Education Policy 2020, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India.
5. Teachers 5.1. Teachers truly shape the future of our children, and, therefore, the future of our nation. It is because of this noblest role that the teacher in India was the most respected member of society. Only the very best and most learned became teachers. Society gave teachers, or gurus, what they needed to pass on their knowledge, skills, and ethics optimally to students. The quality of teacher education, recruitment, deployment, service conditions, and empowerment of teachers is not where it should be, and consequently the quality and motivation of teachers does not reach the desired standards. The high respect for teachers and the high status of the teaching profession must be restored so as to inspire the best to enter the teaching profession. The motivation and empowerment of teachers is required to ensure the best possible future for our children and our nation. Recruitment and deployment 5.2. To ensure that outstanding students enter the teaching profession, especially from rural areas, a large number of merit-based scholarships shall be instituted across the country for studying quality four-year integrated B.Ed programs. In rural areas, special merit-based scholarships will be established that also include preferential employment in their local areas upon successful completion of their B.Ed programs. Such scholarships will provide local job opportunities to local students, especially female students, so that these students serve as local area role models and as highly qualified teachers who speak the local language. Incentives will be provided for teachers to take up teaching jobs in rural areas, especially in areas that are currently facing acute shortage of quality teachers. A key incentive for teaching in rural schools will be the provision of local housing near or on the school premises, or increased housing allowances. 5.3. The harmful practice of excessive teacher transfers will be halted so that students have continuity in their role models and educational environments. Transfers will occur in very special circumstances, as suitably laid down in a structured manner by state UT governments. Furthermore, transfers will be conducted through an online computerized system that ensures transparency. 5.4. Teacher eligibility tests. Tests will be strengthened to inculcate better test material, both in terms of content and pedagogy. The tests will also be extended to cover teachers across all stages, foundational, preparatory, middle and secondary, of school education. For subject teachers, suitable TET or NTA test scores in the corresponding subjects will also be taken into account for recruitment. To gauge passion and motivation for teaching, a classroom demonstration or interview will become an integral part of teacher hiring at schools and school complexes. These interviews would also be used to assess comfort and proficiency in teaching in the local language, so that every school complex has at least some teachers who can converse with students in the local language and other prevalent home languages of students. Teachers in private schools also must have qualified similarly through TET, a demonstration, interview, and knowledge of local languages. 5.5. To ensure an adequate number of teachers across subjects, particularly in subjects such as art, physical education, vocational education, and languages, teachers could be recruited to a school or school complex, and the sharing of teachers across schools could be considered in accordance with the grouping of schools adopted by state UT governments. 5.6. Schools, school complexes will be encouraged to hire local eminent persons or experts as master instructors in various subjects, such as in traditional local arts, vocational crafts, entrepreneurship, agriculture, or any other subject where local expertise exists, to benefit students and help preserve and promote local knowledge and professions. 5.7. A technology-based, comprehensive teacher requirement planning forecasting exercise will be conducted by each state to Assess expected subject-wise teacher vacancies over the next 2 decades. The above described initiatives in recruitment and deployment will be scaled as needed over time to fill all vacancies with qualified teachers, including local teachers, with suitable incentives for career management and progression as described below. Teacher education programs and offerings will also align with the vacancies thus projected. Service environment and culture 5.8. The primary goal of overhauling the service environment and culture of schools will be to maximize the ability of teachers to do their jobs effectively and to ensure that they are part of vibrant, caring, and inclusive communities of teachers, students, parents, principals, and other support staff, all of whom share a common goal to ensure that our children are learning. 5.9. The first requirement in this direction will be to ensure decent and pleasant service conditions at schools. Adequate and safe infrastructure, including working toilets, clean drinking water, clean and attractive spaces, electricity, computing devices, internet, libraries, and sports and recreational resources will be provided to all schools to ensure that teachers and students, including children of all genders and children with disabilities, receive a safe, inclusive, and effective learning environment and are comfortable and inspired to teach and learn in their schools. In-service training will have inputs on safety, health, and environment at workplace and schools to ensure that all teachers are sensitized to these requirements. 5.10. State UT governments may adopt innovative formats such as school complex rationalization of schools without in any way reducing accessibility for effective school governance, resource sharing, and community building. The creation of school complexes could go a long way towards building vibrant teacher communities. The hiring of teachers to school complexes could automatically create relationships among schools across the school complex. It would also help ensure excellent subject-wise distribution of teachers, creating a more vibrant teacher knowledge base. Teachers at very small schools will not remain isolated any longer and may become part of and work with larger school complex communities, sharing best practices with each other and working collaboratively to ensure that all children are learning. School complexes could also share counselors, trained social workers, technical and maintenance staff, etc. to further support teachers and help create an effective learning environment. 5.11. In collaboration with parents and other key local stakeholders, teachers will also be more involved in the governance of schools, school complexes, including as members of the school management committees, school complex management committees. 5.12. To prevent the large amounts of time spent currently by teachers on non-teaching activities, teachers will not be engaged any longer in work that is not directly related to teaching. In particular, teachers will not be involved in strenuous administrative tasks and more than a rationalized minimum time for midday meal related work, so that they may fully concentrate on their teaching learning duties. 5.13. To help ensure that schools have positive learning environments, the role expectations of principals and teachers will explicitly include developing a caring and inclusive culture at their schools for effective learning and the benefit of all stakeholders. 5.14. Teachers will be given more autonomy in choosing aspects of pedagogy so they may teach in the manner they find most effective for the students in their classrooms. Teachers will also focus on socio-emotional learning, a critical aspect of any student as holistic development. Teachers will be recognized for novel approaches to teaching that improve learning outcomes in their classrooms. Continuous professional development (CPD). 5.15. Teachers will be given continuous opportunities for self-improvement and to learn the latest innovations and advances in their professions. These will be offered in multiple modes, including in the form of local, regional, state, national, and international workshops as well as online teacher development modules. Platforms, especially online platforms, will be developed so that teachers may share ideas and best practices. Each teacher will be expected to participate in at least 50 hours of CPD opportunities every year for their own professional development, driven by their own interests. CPD opportunities will, in particular, systematically cover the latest pedagogies regarding foundational literacy and numeracy, formative and adaptive assessment of learning outcomes, competency-based learning, and related pedagogies such as experiential learning, arts integrated, sports integrated, and storytelling-based approaches, etc. 5.16. School principals and school complex leaders will have similar modular leadership management workshops and online development opportunities in platforms to continuously improve their own leadership and management skills, and so that they too may share best practices with each other. Such leaders will also be expected to participate in 50 hours or more of CPD modules per year, covering leadership and management, as well as content and pedagogy, with a focus on preparing and implementing pedagogical plans based on competency-based education.